The abandoned warehouse stood silent. Dust motes danced in the lone shaft of light. Dave, a scavenger of forgotten treasures, crept through the shadows. He stumbled upon a heavy leather briefcase tucked beneath a crumbling shelf. The briefcase was pristine, untouched by time or decay. An unnatural gleam emanated from its polished surface.
My heart pounded with anticipation. Untold riches, I imagined.
He reached out, his fingers brushing against the cold metal clasps. A shiver ran down his spine. The air grew heavy, the silence punctuated by the creak of unseen floorboards. He hesitated, a sense of unease washing over him. But greed quickly quelled his apprehension. He unlatched the briefcase, the clasps clicking open with a metallic snap. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded velvet, lay stacks of neatly bound $100 bills.
I struck gold.
Dave's eyes widened, his breath catching in his throat. Dave barely made it out of the warehouse, his legs feeling like lead as he stumbled into the night. The air outside was cold, but it did little to clear his foggy mind. A sudden wave of nausea washed over him, making him double over in pain. He clutched his stomach, trying to steady himself. His vision blurred, the stacks of money he had risked everything for now swimming before his eyes, distorted and unreal. He clutched his chest, a sharp pain radiating through his body, each heartbeat a painful reminder of his dire situation. Reaching his apartment, he slammed the door shut behind him, his body trembling uncontrollably. The safety of his home felt like a fragile illusion. He fumbled with the lock, his hands slick with sweat, each second feeling like an eternity as he struggled to secure the door. The briefcase lay open on the floor, the money mockingly gleaming in the dim light, a cruel reminder of the night's events.
I collapsed onto the couch, gasping for air, my chest heaving with each breath. The room felt like it was closing in on me. My skin began to crawl, a sensation of unease spreading through my body like wildfire. I felt unseen fingers tracing patterns across my flesh, each touch sending shivers down my spine.
The room spun around him, the walls seeming to close in, making it hard to distinguish reality from nightmare. The shadows stretched and contorted into grotesque shapes, dancing mockingly on the walls, feeding his growing terror. A chilling whisper echoed in his ears, a voice laced with malice and intent, sending a cold shiver down his spine. His screams were swallowed by the encroaching darkness, the sound of his voice fading into the void. By morning, only a twisted, contorted husk remained, a shell of the man who had once been Dave. The briefcase lay open, the money untouched, waiting for its next victim, a silent testament to the night's horrors. Word spread through the city's underbelly, whispers carried on the wind like a dark secret. A cursed briefcase filled with ill-gotten gains, tainted by the misfortune of those who dared to possess it. A string of unexplained deaths, each more horrific than the last, followed in its wake, leaving a trail of despair. Rumors swirled like smoke in the dimly lit alleys, growing thicker with each passing night. Laura, a hardened gambler with an insatiable hunger for wealth, scoffed at the tales, her eyes gleaming with ambition.
Opportunity, not fear, is what I see, she declared with unwavering confidence. Luck, not curses, dictates fate. She believed in her own fortune, dismissing the ominous warnings.
She sought out the briefcase, dismissing the warnings as superstitious nonsense, convinced that her luck would hold. She found it in a pawn shop, tucked away in a dusty corner, almost as if it were waiting for her. The shopkeeper, a nervous man with haunted eyes, pleaded with her not to take it, his voice trembling with fear.
Whispers, shadows, a terrible price to pay? Nonsense, she scoffed, her voice dripping with disdain.
Laura laughed, dismissing his concerns with a wave of her hand, her mind set on the fortune she believed awaited her. She paid a pittance for the briefcase, eager to claim its contents, her heart racing with anticipation. She didn't notice the shopkeeper's look of pity as she walked away. The briefcase clutched tightly in her hand, unaware of the dark fate that followed. Laura locked herself in her apartment, the briefcase resting on her kitchen table. The room was dimly lit, shadows dancing on the walls as she moved. She ran her fingers over the smooth leather, a thrill coursing through her veins. The texture was rich and inviting, a promise of the wealth it contained. She imagined the luxurious life she would lead, the opulent parties, the extravagant vacations, and the freedom from her mundane existence. The debts she would pay, the burdens lifted from her shoulders, and the relief that would wash over her, the power she would wield, the influence she would command, and the respect she would finally earn. She unlatched the clasps, the familiar metallic snap echoing in the silence. It was a sound she had come to associate with hope and possibility. The stacks of money lay within, their crisp edges beckoning her touch. Each bill represented a step closer to her dreams.
This is it, the life I've always dreamed of. No more struggling, no more sleepless nights worrying about the future.
She reached in, her fingers closing around a wad of bills. The sensation was intoxicating, a tangible proof of her newfound fortune. A cold draught swept through the room, extinguishing the flickering candle on the table. The sudden darkness was unsettling. The room plunged into darkness, broken only by the faint moonlight filtering through the blinds. The silence was deafening, amplifying her unease. A low growl resonated from the corners of the room. It was a sound that sent chills down her spine. Laura's heart pounded in her chest. Fear gripped her, making it hard to breathe. She tried to speak, but her voice caught in her throat. The words refused to come out, trapped by her terror. She felt a presence behind her, a cold breath on her neck. It was as if the darkness itself had come alive. She turned slowly, her eyes widening in terror. The room seemed to close in on her, the shadows growing darker.
Welcome to your fate, Laura. The voice was cold and menacing, sending a wave of dread through her.
The briefcase had claimed another soul. It sat there, an ominous reminder of the price of greed. Section 5, the price of curiosity. Laura's scream died in her throat. Clawing hands emerged from the shadows, their icy grip tightening around her neck. She struggled, her body thrashing against the unseen assailant, but her strength quickly faded. The room spun, the shadows coalescing into a monstrous figure. Its eyes glowed with a malevolent light, its breath reeking of decay. It tightened its grip, crushing the life out of her. Her body went limp, her eyes staring blankly at the ceiling. The figure vanished, leaving only the lingering scent of death. The briefcase lay open, the money undisturbed, its curse fulfilled. Section 6, Carl's Gamble.
Supernatural, please.
Carl, a seasoned detective, scoffed at the supernatural. He saw patterns, not curses. He investigated Laura's death, the third in a series of bizarre and gruesome murders. He learned of the briefcase, the whispers, the rumors of a curse. He dismissed them as coincidence, a convenient explanation for otherwise inexplicable deaths. He tracked the briefcase to the pawn shop, questioning the terrified shopkeeper. He learned of Dave, the first victim, and the abandoned warehouse. He found the briefcase hidden in a secret compartment beneath the shopkeeper's counter. He examined it carefully, noting the intricate carvings on its surface. He felt a strange pull, a morbid curiosity he couldn't explain. He took the briefcase, ignoring the shopkeeper's desperate pleas. He believed he could solve the mystery, break the supposed curse. He underestimated the power of the object he held in his hands.
Carl sat in his dimly lit office, the briefcase on his desk. He studied the intricate carvings, trying to decipher their meaning. He felt a growing unease, a prickling sensation on his skin. The room grew cold, the air thick with a palpable sense of dread. The shadows danced in the corners, their movements mimicking the carvings on the briefcase. He heard whispers, faint at first, then growing louder, more insistent. He tried to open the briefcase, but his hands wouldn't obey. They trembled uncontrollably, as if repelled by the object. He felt a sharp pain in his chest, his breath catching in his throat. He knew with chilling certainty that his time was running out. The whispers intensified, coalescing into a cacophony of voices. They mocked him, taunted him, reveling in his impending doom. He saw faces in the shadows, grotesque and distorted, their eyes burning with malevolent glee. A shadowy figure emerged from the darkness, its form shifting and swirling like smoke. It reached out, its icy hand brushing against his cheek. He recoiled, his body convulsing in terror. The figure tightened its grip, its touch searing his flesh like fire. He screamed, the sound echoing in the empty office, but his cries were swallowed by the encroaching darkness.
The morning sun streamed through the office window, illuminating a scene of carnage. Carl's body lay twisted and broken, his eyes wide with terror. The briefcase lay open, the money untouched, its curse satisfied. The whispers faded, the shadows retreated, the room returned to normal. But the air remained heavy, tinged with the lingering scent of death. The curse remained unbroken, waiting for its next victim. The briefcase disappeared, lost but not forgotten. Whispers of its existence continued to circulate, a chilling reminder of the price of greed. The cursed object, patient and relentless, awaited its next victim. The cycle would continue, the curse forever seeking new souls to claim.